of 60-second stories, each of which focuses on a different person or community or place in New York City. And using food as a subject, the series looks into the lives of New Yorkers and altogether as a collection, a body of work, creates a portrait of the city that hopefully is more representative and more reflective of the diversity of identities that we have in the city, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Do you have any experience?
Acá la necesidad de alimentar los hijos y responder por la vivienda y por todos los gastos que implica una familia, me orillaron a hacer eso, pero antes nunca había cocinado.
This is one of my favorite stories because it's about someone that's very well known for being a street vendor. She started cooking on the street because it was the only way that she could support her family after she moved to New York from Columbia. So she actually had all of these kind of high-ranking public service and government jobs, and she's very highly skilled in Columbia. But once she got here, she couldn't translate those skills to do anything that would help her build a life, which is a very common story with immigrants in the United States, and ultimately ended up cooking and selling food for the first time. But then now she became this very famous local figure. So this is a story I just shot yesterday and the day before about a Haitian American woman who wrote a book which started from following one of her grandmother's recipes, but then ended up being a collection of stories of various Haitian Americans and how they connect to their identity. This is a great example of the way the series works, because the important thing about the recipe isn't that you can cook it, it's highlighting the fact that recipes create these legacies of people that you love or identities that you may not fully appreciate, but gives you an opportunity to connect to those things. The story I am shooting right now, I've been working on for a long time, and I really like it because there's a guy, he put on an African food festival last year. It went really badly. He was personally just criticized very harshly on the internet and social media. There were some people who were just very upset, saying some very mean things. So yeah, is the BRIC thing going on already?
He hasn't started.
Yeah.
We have the vendor, we're selling mostly like African-owned apparel and stuff like that.
We got a junior DJ to get in today.
He basically looked around and said, well, no one else is doing it, so I'll just do it again and I'll just do it better. I'll just correct my mistakes. I really like doing this story because it's about his motivation and his insistence that, like, look, I'll make mistakes, but I can do this, I can do a better job, I can listen to people, you just have to give me a chance. He wants there to be this kind of community-centered event featuring and bringing respect and awareness to African cuisine and culture. So after these events have happened, I think I'm actually much happier that I did do this story. If there's a narrative out there being built and reinforced by all of these media outlets that there's a guy who's a scammer putting on fake food events to take people's money.
This was an opportunity to create community. This was an opportunity to connect with people whose stories I've heard about and read about.
And my story just interrupts that in the middle and says, well, here's a successful event that he did for the sake of representing his culture. If you're looking up Osakre and his food festival work and you see these stories together and my story is there, I'm just hoping that people can recognize that this is just a complicated person who may be not the best at putting on food events. So I'm still waiting to see the specific details of this pizza thing, but it doesn't change what happened at the Jollof Fest. It doesn't change what was documented, and it doesn't change what he put into it. What I'd like to do is we just released a trailer for the new season today, so we go up and play that, and then give you a sneak kind of advanced screening of a few stories from this upcoming season. The goal of 1 Minute Meal is to create an alternate portrait of New York. I think I found a way to make these stories reach people. When they see the trailer, when they see the stories, it's pretty obvious that this is a closer look at the people who live here and the food communities that are part of New York City and aren't just part of the business of fine dining, hospitality, and all those things that are kind of on a separate level.